you grown your potatoes in buckets like this before? Have you been disappointed in the yields that you get? Well, I'm going to show you in this episode exactly how I get high yields out of one of these buckets for our potatoes. Stay tuned. Okay guys, so what we need to do, we need to take some of this lovely clover compost, okay, and we need to put a good layer in the bottom of the bucket. And you can see just how nice and fine this clover compost is. It is really nice stuff. And this is about the layer we're looking for, okay? About sort of a third of the bucket, okay? Now we're going to take some of this, which is a mix of products that I have. It's a feed and I use it for my potatoes, and in here it's got 1 part Growmore, it's got 1 part blood, fish and bone, and it's got 1 part potato feed, okay? And we need a good couple of handfuls of this. The idea of this is to get a good feed into the potatoes. So that'll be enough in this section. Now we need to mix it up really well. I might put a bit more in there actually. There we go. Mix it up really well in this. There's a couple of other ingredients we're going to put in. The first thing is this stuff here. Now this is called GrowTrack, okay, and it's a fertilizer that you can buy. It's made out of all sorts of bark chips and things like that, and it's very potent. You don't need a lot of this, guys, so don't put in huge amounts. For this area I'm just going to put in 1 handful, okay. Give that a mix in. And there's one other ingredient we're going to put in this. Now bearing in mind, guys, this is just for high yields, and this ingredient is this stuff, and it's called Vitax Q4, okay, and I'll put probably about this much in there, so good handful in this sort of third of the bucket here. Mix that in as well. So what we've done, we've got a good quality compost. We've added some nice GrowTracks, and we've added a lot of feed in this bottom layer. Okay, so the next step is the potatoes. We're using 2 potatoes, and as you can see, they got absolutely beautiful chits on these. But there's a secret to this, okay? You only want a maximum of 2 chits on your potato. Anything else you need to get rid of. So you can see here, just there's another chit coming out. We want to get rid of that, so we're going to literally just scrape it off. I'm just using a washer by here, sorry. Just literally just gouge it out like that, and do the same for any other chit that you have, okay? Because you don't want any other chits coming out of this potato. You want big potatoes and you want high yields, so we want pounds and pounds and pounds. So as you can see, it looks a bit drastic, but don't forget, guys, this part of the potato is only an actual store, okay? So we now put this, settle that nicely down into the bucket, and the same thing with this one. This one only has 1 chit, but that's fine, so we'll dig out everything else. It's a nice sized chit, so we're happy with that. And if you limit the chits, you will get better potatoes that come out of there. Okay, and I think, there we go. So again, dig those chits out, guys. It's really important, okay? And then we're going to put both those potatoes in the bucket like this. We're now going to cover these potatoes up with some more compost. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to add just a little bit more of this stuff just over the top of them and just work it into the top layer. I'm not actually digging it down, okay? I just want a little bit of feed up here as well, because obviously as you're watering it takes the feed down, so we want to be able to pull this down around, okay? there we go. Now, I'm a little late putting these ones in, and I've got most of my other crops in, which I will show you now. So the idea behind all this, guys, is you feed the potatoes really well. Excuse the rain hitting the polytunnel. By feeding them really well, you're not going to have to worry about feeding later on. You can just keep watering, because by the time the feed runs out, your potatoes are ready to come. And what we're going to do, just to make sure that the potato, that this bucket is actually measured, so we can follow it a little bit later on and see what we take out of it, I'm going to tie this green tie around the handle. Now, the variety of potato that we've used today is Sarpo Mira. Okay, we've got lots of other varieties in, as you can see behind me, and we're going to use Sarpo Mira for this video, and you will see exactly what we pull out of this particular bucket. It's really important that you get that good feed in there, guys, because without it, your potatoes have no substance to be able to grab hold of and actually grow. And the other thing is, you need to keep them moist. There's no point doing all of this work, having good quality clover compost and spending the money on this compost, adding the GrowTrack and everything else, and then not following up giving them water. So we're going to tie this around the bucket. We're literally just going to tie it around the handle here, so we know that this one is the bucket with a Sarpo Mira for this particular video. So we've got a nice little tag there, look. Alright, and I will leave that on there, and we know I could paint the bucket, but I use these buckets for other things, you know, like figs and lemon trees and things like that. So so I won't paint this bucket at this time. But now this is ready now to get a good watering, and it'll go out onto the plot when the last frost is done. But in the meantime, it can grow in the polytunnel here. We're actually on May the 8th at the moment, and as you can imagine, it is late for me to get these in, but they're main crop, so I'm not bothered about it. And we will, you know, we will get these going. All my others are already up, and I'm going to show you my main and my early crops now. So as you can see, right along there are all my earlies, and they are doing really well. And my main crops are all along there. But I've made this video just to show you exactly how I've done these potatoes. Okay, 2 spuds for my main, and we've gone 4 spuds in the buckets for my earlies, because you want smaller potatoes. Last year we did a video, and we trialed putting 4 main potatoes, four seed potatoes into a bucket as a main crop, and it worked superb. My theory behind that was that the top sort of 2/3 of the bucket never got used. It was just compost that you kept building up. But this particular bucket that we've just done, we want to use as a trial against all the other buckets. Now, I have put 4 potatoes in all of the other buckets. Okay, so we will see the difference between the 2 potato and the 4 potato for the main crop, both Sarpo Mira, and we will look at the yields between them both. And they've both been planted in the exact same way, so we can work out whether or not 2 potatoes over 4 potatoes, which is the best, and the size difference and the weight and everything else. And we'll follow that up with this with a video based on this bucket. Anyway, guys, that's it in this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.